A little pond, they're growing like weeds and getting braver every day. They're running everywhere. And old Dirty Dan, he's up moving around a little bit this week, but he don't seem to want to stay up very long. Welcome, friends. Welcome to the foothills of the Smoky. Another chapter of As the Ridge Turns here in East Tennessee. Hope you all doing well. Now, we've had some rain here in the last 3 weeks. It ain't rained all the time, but it's rained most of the time, night or day. Even the sun's shining. We've had some good rain, and it's done everything so good. But the rain's moving out here in East Tennessee, and the hot weather's moving in. But this video is always a week behind, so I hope y'all take care east of the mountains. That hurricane coming out of Florida through Georgia up into the Carolinas, I know it's going to do some flooding. So I hope y'all take care of each other, and watch out. So anyway, the pond is doing really great if it'd hold some water now in this heat. But I hope you do well. Take care of each other, and let's see what stepped in front of the cameras this week. Relax, and let's get started. Well, up on top of the ridge, the does is moving around, and the fawns is following them. They're growing like weeds, ain't they? And that's a set of twins right there. But they're all over this ridge. They're wearing it out. And there's one single fawn. No, that's the twins, with Mommy following her around just back and forth on top of this ridge. Now, I only filmed one turkey, but I know they're moving around. They're moving around good in this wet weather. But I only stepped in front of the cameras one time. And there's a young buck moving through. Beautiful young buck. And they like browsing on these leaves, weeds. That must be finger licking good right there. They like to browse on these leaves. Looks like that's a red bud right there. And there's old Yeller. Wonder what he's into. Out on this old logging trail here. Just easing away around. And they like to browse too, out in the woods. And there's the twins again, or a different set of twins. I don't know, unless you mark these ponds, you can't tell them apart. There's a set of twins right there. I think there's more than one set of twins. Didn't see the triplets this week, though. And they just follow Mommy around. She's learning on the ropes, and where's everything's at. Ain't they precious? You just liable to see them anywhere. And they seem to be brave, don't they? But they still spook easy. They just out exploring their new world. But they ain't very brave. Not yet. And there's one licking on the camera. Moving through on a rainy day. Like I said, it'd be beautiful one minute and raining and storming the next, the way it's been. Down at the log, There's little Ricky. He has to stay high. And little Chucky. They out making their round. And the deer just browsing through by here too. Wherever they happen to mosey. No pressure on them. There's a beautiful little male cardinal. I think he stays around here all the time. And there's the fawns again. Up on the trail. They seem nervous, don't they? But ain't they precious? Learning a new world. And at the rock, there's a doe passing through. No fawns though. They just pass by. There's little Ricky on his perch coming off of it. On a damp day. And there's old Dirty Dan. Didn't see him last week. He just comes in long enough to check his rock, and he heads on in. I don't think he likes this wet weather. And there he is again coming in. I don't know why my camera ain't picking it up, him coming out. Sometimes they don't trip these cameras off. And there he goes. He's going to take it easy. That's all I got of him this week. Down at the pond, there's a coyote right there. Now you see him, now you don't. And there's a rainy spell there at the pond. Foggy. But the does still like this place. And all the other animals do too. They just browse till something runs them off. And out in the woods, late in the evening, there's a doe, mommy doe running through, just easing through, and there's her twins right behind her. And there in the edge of dark, there's an old buck here coming through. He's growing his antlers back nicely. And there's old Fred moving through right dark. But it come dark, it's the coons' time. This is their time of night. They love it. They come off these den trees and seeing what they can get into, what's new going on, what they find to eat. They just move around. And the possums too. They out seeing what they can get into. They like these worms and these bugs. There's Fred again, or Betty one. Can't tell. Think it's Fred. And there's old No-Tail. Ain't seen him in a few weeks. He's still around. And a little herd of doe right here. They just a browsing. Night or day. And at the path here, there's a little skunk, looks like a stripe. And there's a little rabbit. I know they're nervous. Everything in the world's trying to catch them. And that looks like old Flat Top there moving up the ridge. Haven't seen him in a while. And at the log, there's an old wet possum on a wet night. And there's Freddie or Betty moving across the log. And the old coon, they just making their rounds. What they can find. Didn't like that stick poking him, did he? I don't know what they got on their back here. They've been into something here at the tree below the rock motel. Looks like they've both been into something. I couldn't tell you. These coons, it's no telling. That looks like old Freddy coming up to the Rock Motel, making his round as he passes on through. And the old coon too. This is their normal stop. That seems like they just got a pattern of places they check out every night. And there's like old Willie there coming out of the rock. But on a rainy night, they just want to go back in and under the rock and take it easy. Get out of this wet weather. And up on the ridge, the old coon's making their way towards the pond. Whatever they can find in the meantime. At the pond, on this one camera, there's a possum working his way around. And yep, them coons are down in that weed. They just come up to the camera every once in a while, check things out. But they're there, guarantee you, night after night. Come dawn, hear a wet camera lens, little doe bedded down. Then there's a doe with a fawn, single fawn. About dawn. And the little birds is up early in the morning. They like to go after these worms and bugs and grubs and stuff. But everything starts moving around on the ridge when the sun's coming up. There's a young buck just browsing through. And there's Mommy and her little fawn. And another day unfolds here on the ridge. These animals live hard lives. But it's time for the squirrels. They're in these nuts. I've noticed when I change camera cards, they're in these nuts now, pretty heavy, what trees is ready for them, the hickories. And they're always into it. There's a little old young squirrel here. And they're comical. They're always working. That was a spider web. Well, I want to thank y'all for watching. Hope you enjoy these little videos. They are trouble to make, but I want to thank you for watching. God bless, and I'll see you next time.